Okay, like the Terminator, we are back. A lot of guys ask me, what is our lead time? I get that question over and over and over again. And my answer is always the same. We don't have a lead time. Whenever we have components, when we have all of the components, we are building a gun. Now, almost always we have everything we need to move from project to project to project, but rarely we run out of components. In other words, we are waiting on things. And about a week ago, that is exactly what happened. We had no components, I had no guns to build. And we thought, okay, well, we don't have to be here. And Vicky's plant shut down for like 10 days, is that correct?
Correct. And
so we decided, let's go do something that we've always wanted to do. So, by the way, do I look trimmer? Do I look better to you? We went to Mount Bora. Mount Bora is the highest mountain in Idaho. It is 12,662 feet high. We went there to climb Mount Bora. We did it a lot for my daughter so that she could be like, wow, I climbed the highest mountain in Idaho. We went there, it was brutal. I mean, just freaking brutal. And I am used to living and hunting in Idaho. It is literally straight up. It is steeper in places than that ladder is. Show them that ladder against the wall. I am not joking. So you're literally climbing like this, and you're going up over 5,000 feet. It took us 7 hours, correct?
Correct.
7 hours on the way up. And we started at 2:30 in the morning?
2:40.
2:40 in the morning, and we did that so that we could climb in the dark. First of all, so the sun wouldn't be beating on us, but I thought that it would help me mentally. I figured if I can't see what I'm doing, if I just have to look at the trail on the ground, that I would do better. And indeed, we got probably over halfway up there, maybe a third of the way up before it got daylight. Once it got daylight, you would assume that it would get less gradual. Oh man. It gets steeper. Every step you take gets steeper and steeper and steeper until at the end, there's places in there. What do you figure, Vicki? Probably 80 degrees?
Yeah, pretty steep.
It's almost vertical, almost. Like you can just barely hang on there. And anyways, once you get up there, of course, it's the highest mountain in the whole state, so the view is amazing. And it is definitely worth doing, but I would caution you, if you're gonna go there to do it, you better be in pretty dang good shape, because we've been training quite a ways to get ready for this, quite a while, because it's something that we wanted to do. We knew that some point in the future we were gonna do it. I should have been in even better shape. I should have lost more weight. There was other people, Vicky and Hilo were the only people on the mountain, only females on the mountain. All of the rest of them were guys. Most of them were single guys. They weren't with another partner. In other words, an individual guy climbing the mountain. They all looked like I used to look 30 years ago. They were all very thin, 150, 100. I don't bet you there wasn't a guy on the mountain except for me that weighed over, what do you think, Vicki? 170 maybe?
170 maybe.
And that was the big guys. Some of these guys were like 6'4" tall. They had long legs. And they were there to climb. They had ice axes, they had crampons, I think that's what it is, spikes to go on their shoes. They had rock helmets.
They all had poles.
They all had trekking poles, you know what I mean? And we started out like I said, in the dark. One other guy or group was ahead of us. We knew that because we could see his light way above us in the dark. But then after that, all the younger guys passed us. We were moving slow enough that they eventually were passing us, and then we could watch the route that they were going, which eventually, hours later, we were going to be on. It is really something. And the other thing about all these guys is they all were mountain climbers. In other words, they were there to check off Mount Bora. In other words, I climbed the highest mountain in Idaho. I climbed the highest mountain in Wyoming. I climbed the highest mountain in Montana, New Mexico. They'd stop and talk to us for 5 minutes, and they all had a list that they have previously climbed and an itinerary of where they were going next. So that's what these people do. Anyways, this is what's interesting about it. So we walked uphill for 7 straight hours. When we got up there, the wind was blowing, a storm was coming. Everybody's like, we got to get off this mountain because you're way above tree line. You're no protection. You're just in the rocks. And everybody started getting the heck out of there. Same deal. On the way down, we were going slower, mostly because of me. It took us 5 hours. That's 5 hours straight downhill, literally taking steps that are like 3 feet, 3 feet. I mean, anyways, it was brutal. And that's what we did because we didn't have components, right? Because that's what this is about, guns. So, what?
So, we don't have components, so we have to go climb Mount Bora.
Right. We're not just going to sit around and twiddle our thumbs. You know what I mean? I don't know what people think. So, we go to do this, right? And then, what do you think happens, okay? Look at this table right now. See this table? There's nothing on here, right? So we were gone for, I don't know what, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. And guess what? This is what happened. Holy cow, look at all this stuff. I mean, I just don't. You wonder how life works, right? So you wait on things. It doesn't come. It doesn't come. It doesn't come. Then you decide, hey, I think I'll go and climb Mount Bora. And then look what happens. You know that I don't even know what is in half of these, and we're going to open all this up in a minute. But some of them scare the living crap out of me. See this box right here that is huge, and it says it weighs 13 pounds? That came from BAT. Whenever you get a 13-pound box from BAT, big bills. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up all this stuff and just see what the heck is all here, because I know there has to be some really cool stuff here. I think I'm going to start with, oh, wait a minute, right. Actually, realize we don't have scripts. I'm going to start here because in a way, this is quite important. So it's not just going to be a show and tell. This is important right here. I do know what is in this big box. This is from a customer who was here. He was actually here physically. You saw him on another video. We built him a 308 that just shoots one hole. You got to see the groups, the pictures of the groups that he's been sending me. That thing is amazing. 300 yards, it shoots half, 3/4 of an inch. So it really shoots. But this is we're going to get it out here in a second. It is a Remington 700 with a laminated stock. I don't know what model. And he asked me when he was here, do you want to buy it? And I was so busy focusing on his new gun and going to shoot and doing videos and all that stuff that I didn't really look at it. Well, after he drove away and I have a break to wind down for a second, I'm like, oh, crud. Actually, I wouldn't have minded having that gun because, and this is critical right here, it's going to be a video project gun. So we're about to do something that we've never done before, and I think it's going to be really cool. So as many of you know, I have mentioned over and over that I would rather teach than build. I would much rather teach. The issue is we live in middle of nowhere, Idaho, okay? And there's no big population centers around here. That's why I live here. I live here to be away from people. Well, that's not conducive to having people come to classes and learning like Gordy Gritters does. I would very much like to make the transition to teaching like Gordy Gritters does, but rather than 2, 3, 4, 5-day classes, I want to do entire projects. The problem with entire projects is it takes a lot of time. You know, I said this many times, in my average gun, I have 100 hours. Well, that means the guy's got to be here 2 weeks minimum, no matter how you look at it, no matter how hard we go. So we got the idea. And by the way, Vicki is filming with the brand new camera, and she is struggling right at this minute because it's a regular big broadcast camera.
It's heavy.
You know what?
It's heavy.
she's having a problem.
Oh no.
Because, you know, the regular cameraman that you see on TV with the big old camera on his shoulder, well, here's Vicki.
You
Can you
can't-
see that, Vicki?
No, you're too high.
You can't see it?
No, no, barely.
Can
Yeah.
you see it?
Now you have to go up, up, up. There I am behind the camera.
Can you
Yeah.
see yourself?
Kind of, yes. It's the
Okay.
thing, it's heavy.
Anyway, she's holding a big old honking camera that is a professional grade camera. So we thought, and you might notice with our videos, we've been trying all kind of new stuff in our videos because we have way better editing software, way better computer, the whole deal. But with this new camera and the new computer and all, we thought, why not film entire projects? So this gun that's in this box, that is a Remington 700 factory gun, I am going to do an entire project on it. So I will blueprint the receiver, I will rebarrel it, chamber, rebarrel it, crown it, I will bed it. I'm gonna do everything that I would do as if it was mine or a customer gun, a complete rebuild, right? I haven't decided what cartridge yet. The gun is, I believe, a 308, so I have a 308 bolt face. I might make a 6GT, I might make a 6x47 Lapua. I haven't decided yet, but we're gonna film the whole project. There will be nothing hidden. There will be no secrets, nothing. We're gonna film every bit of it from start to finish with a high-end camera so that you can actually see what is going on. And then, this is the important part, we're going to offer those videos for sale. Now, how we're gonna do that, we don't quite know yet. It's probably gonna be online. In other words, you'll say, yes, I want it, and somehow you'll pay for it with a credit card, something, I don't know yet, and then it will come to you. We thought about doing DVDs, but that's like ancient technology nowadays, and all the young guys are like, what the heck's a DVD? They don't even know what it is. I still watch VHSs, by the way, so we're way behind the times on that. But this is the really important part, and I need your feedback on this. So we're talking about a video that will be all-inclusive. It's gonna show everything, the whole deal, everything I do. We don't know what to price it at. I've been talking to customers and friends and stuff, and there's two camps right here, two groups of people. There's one group of people, which I believe I'm in that camp, that say, let's just make it $29.95. And that way, thousands of guys can buy them and watch them. Even guys that probably will never build a gun. And it'll be relatively inexpensive for like 100 hours of video. Then I got another group of guys, which Vicki, of course, is in that. Remember in True Grit, women have no generosity. That's what John Wayne says. That whole other group says, no, make it like $149.95, like 150 bucks. Now, of course, that's going to be a whole lot less people that are going to spend that kind of money just to watch it. It won't be entertainment at that price. It'll be guys that are serious about building a gun. I don't know what to do. I'm really torn. So, and here's the other thing. Well, the one thing that one of the young guys that knows about this stuff has said is, we will have to pay someone to handle the actual the customer purchase and then the transfer, if it's digitally transferred to the customer. You're gonna have to pay a service to do that. In other words, you're not gonna set up on your own and do all that stuff. So I don't know what percentage of that is gonna be. You know what I mean? So if it's 30 bucks, we're not getting 30 bucks. If it's 150 bucks, we're not getting 150 bucks. It might just be half of that. Anyways, I'm running long on this. What I'm asking from all these viewers is for you to tell me where it should be priced. And I want you to think about this. I'm basically at this point going to be giving up all of my knowledge, all of my skill. I'm going to show exactly how that I do it. And we're going to do this with multiple videos because the things that I do on this gun would be different, say, than what I do with a gun with a bat receiver or a Borden receiver or a Stiller receiver. There's different operations, different things to learn. The other thing about this is the name. We're going to have a name for this. I thought about calling it my way. In other words, my way, the Q.M.M. way. Because one thing I want to acknowledge here is what I do in this room is what I do. That doesn't mean that that's the only way. And in fact, I watch lots of other videos, and I know lots of other guys that do things differently. That's irrelevant to me. What really matters is the results. And of course, you know, everybody watching this realizes we are all about accuracy. So you do all the work, you take the gun out and you shoot it, and what do we want? We want the bullets to go all through one hole. And that's the whole point of everything. Everything we do here is to make all the bullets go through one hole. The interesting thing is, we're nearly achieving that every time now. Now, of course, that has to do with barrel quality, but you go back and look at the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos. Them guns are shooting in the ones, 1/10 of an inch, 2/10 of an inch. It's getting to the point now, if a gun shoots 3/10, definitely 4/10, I'm like, that's a bad barrel. At 4/10 of an inch, to most people, that's amazing. Anyways, we're going to show how we do that. You know, and I understand there's other ways to do it. We're going to show how we do it. So we need a name for what's going to become this video series. It's, like I said, I thought about calling it My Way. My Way number 1, My Way number 2, or the Q.M.M. way, or something like that. Anyways, I would appreciate the feedback. Tell me a price, what you think it should be priced at, and what you think it should be named. And if someone picks out a really great name, we'll give them something or do something for them, because a great name matters. If I could go back to the beginning of all this 20 years ago and Q.M.M., I would have never picked Q.M.M. Half the average shooters don't even know what quarter-minute Magnum is. What that came from is the very first gun I built, the first 3 shots went like .2. And somebody said, hey, that's a quarter-of-a-minute Magnum. And that's how we got the name. Anyways, I'm going to start opening up all this stuff. We may break this video at different points because Vicky's struggling to hold that camera up. So I think I'm going to stop for a minute right now and get my knife and scissors, and then we'll start again.